In the Middle East, where blistering summer temperatures can push 50 degrees Celsius and sandstorms sweep across cities without warning, cars face harsher conditions than almost anywhere else in the world. Yet, despite this, many drivers commit avoidable mistakes that not only shorten the lifespan of their vehicles, but also drain their wallets. In 2025, with newer technology and more advanced vehicles on the roads of Dubai, Riyadh, Doha, and beyond, one truth still holds. Mechanical neglect, no matter how minor it seems, can turn into a repair bill worth thousands. Let's take a deep dive into the most common and most destructive mistakes drivers make, along with why they're particularly dangerous in our region, how you can start using it right now. We'll count down from 10 to 1, and by the time we get to #1, 10. Ignoring dashboard warning lights. A flashing warning light is not a polite suggestion. It's your car's equivalent of waving both arms and screaming, "Help me before I die." Yet far too many drivers in the Middle East treat it like a decorative Christmas bulb that will somehow fix itself if ignored. In our climate, where the thermometer often flirts with 50 degrees Celsius, and every breath of wind carries sand and dust, ignoring a check engine light is like leaving a pot on the stove and hoping it won't boil over. Sure, the problem could be as innocent as a loose fuel cap, but it could also mean a failing oxygen sensor, a severe misfire, or critically low oil pressure. Each of these issues, when allowed to fester, can snowball into catastrophic engine damage, sometimes annihilating your catalytic converter, a component that in 2025 can cost over 5,000 AED to replace in some vehicles. Middle Eastern workshops report a steady stream of cars arriving with dashboard lights that have been glowing for weeks or even months. By then, what might have been a simple 200 AED diagnostic job has mutated into a multi-thousand dirham repair. The reason is simple. Our engines are already working overtime. Between high ambient temperatures, long highway runs, and stop-and-go urban traffic, even a minor fault pushes the system toward failure at a faster pace than in cooler, cleaner climates. The modern car's onboard computer is a gift. It's a 24/7 mechanic living inside your dashboard. Ignoring it is like throwing away free advice and then paying triple when the inevitable breakdown. 9. Revving a cold engine. Few sounds stir a driver's soul like the deep, throaty growl of an engine revving to life. But hammering the accelerator immediately after a cold start is mechanical cruelty, especially in the Gulf's cooler winter mornings. When the engine is cold, its oil is thick, sluggish, and not yet fully distributed. In those first 30 to 60 seconds, metal components are essentially rubbing against each other without the protective oil film they need. This dry contact grinds down pistons, bearings, and cylinder walls, carving away years from your engine's lifespan in just moments. Mechanics across Dubai and Abu Dhabi have countless cautionary tales. One recent case involved a young driver with a 2023 Mustang GT who proudly admitted he loved to wake the neighborhood with aggressive morning revs. Within 6 months, his pride and joy was back in the shop with piston slap and lifter wear so severe it sounded like a diesel truck at idle. The repair bill? Nearly 18,000 AED, roughly the price of a brand new economy hatchback. Modern synthetic oils do flow better at low temperatures, but physics still wins. Even in 2025, no lubricant can instantly coat every moving surface at startup. The best habit is simple. Start the engine, wait 30 to 60 seconds, then drive gently for the first few kilometers. Let the temperature gauge climb steadily before asking your car to perform. Think of it like an athlete warming up before a sprint. You wouldn't run full speed straight out of bed without stretching, and neither should your car. 8. Skipping oil changes. Engine oil isn't just another fluid, it's the lifeblood of your car's heart. It lubricates, cools, cleans, and protects every moving part inside the engine. But in the Middle East, That lifeblood ages far faster than in cooler parts of the world. The combination of extreme ambient temperatures, fine desert dust, and heavy stop-and-go traffic means oil degrades at an accelerated rate. Synthetic oil that can comfortably last 10,000 kilometers on European highways will often need changing after only 6,000 kilometers here. Mineral oils, less resistant to thermal breakdown, sometimes struggle to reach even 4,000 kilometers before their protective properties fade. The consequences of pushing past those limits are ugly. Old oil thickens into sludge, a tar-like paste that clings to components, blocks narrow oil passages, and suffocates moving parts. Without adequate lubrication, friction takes over, grinding down bearings, camshafts, and piston rings. In workshops across Dubai, Riyadh, and Doha, mechanics open valve covers to reveal engines coated in black, sticky residue that looks more suited to a roofing job than a precision machine. Part of the problem lies in misplaced confidence. Many drivers believe synthetic oil lasts forever because it's marketed as premium. But even the most advanced formulations lose viscosity, absorb moisture, and burn off vital additives over time. Heat alone, often exceeding 100 degrees Celsius inside the engine bay during summer, breaks down oil molecules faster. By the time you notice warning signs like sluggish acceleration or knocking noises, damage is already underway. And in 2025, replacing a modern turbocharged engine can easily cost more than 13,000 AED, roughly $3,500 USD. The golden rule for the region is simple. Follow the manufacturer's severe service maintenance schedule, not the standard one. That means more frequent changes, using only high-quality oil filters designed to trap the microscopic dust particles so common in our air. A timely 400 AED oil service can save you from a catastrophic repair bill worth 20 times as much. 7. Overfilling engine oil. If running low on oil is bad, then topping up a little extra must be good, right? Wrong. Overfilling your engine is just as dangerous, sometimes even more so, than letting it run low. In a properly filled engine, the crankshaft spins freely above the oil in the sump, allowing the pump to send it cleanly through the lubrication system. But when the oil level is too high, the crankshaft dips into the excess and whips it into a frothy foam. That foam is filled with air bubbles, and air is a terrible lubricant. Instead of forming a protective film between moving parts, aerated oil collapses under pressure, starving bearings, camshafts, and other vital components. Show. In the Middle East, the damage from overfilling can escalate quickly. High engine bay temperatures thin the oil further, making it even easier for foam to form and circulate. Add the abrasive effect of fine dust ever present in desert environments, and you have a recipe for accelerated wear. The extra crankcase pressure from overfilling can also force oil past gaskets and seals, causing leaks that are messy, expensive, and sometimes dangerous if they reach hot exhaust components. One Abu Dhabi mechanic recalls a client who helpfully topped off his oil every week without checking the dipstick. By the time the car came into the shop, the rear main seal had blown, spraying oil across the undercarriage and soaking the transmission. The fix required pulling the gearbox, replacing seals, and cleaning every surface, an 8,000 AED job that could have been avoided by simply stopping at the recommended oil level. Checking your oil properly is straightforward. Park on level ground, let the engine cool, pull the dipstick, wipe it clean, reinsert it fully, then check again. The oil should sit between the min and max marks, not above, not below. In the heat and dust of the Gulf, that simple discipline can mean the difference between a healthy engine and one drowning in its own lifeblood. 6. Driving regularly with the fuel light on. That little fuel pump icon on your dashboard is not a friendly suggestion to see how far you can go. It's a warning. And ignoring it is a gamble, especially in the Middle East, where distances between fuel stations can be long and the desert heat turns mechanical strain into mechanical failure. Your fuel pump isn't just a simple device that pushes petrol toward the engine. It's an electric motor that relies on being fully submerged in fuel to stay cool and lubricated. When you run your tank near empty, the pump sits exposed, heating up like a toaster element without water. Over time, that heat weakens components, leading to premature failure. Replacing a fuel pump in 2025 is no small expense. In the UAE, depending on the make and model, it can range from 1,500 to over 5,000 AED, not counting labor. And unlike some repairs, there's often no limp mode to get you home. A dead pump means your car is going nowhere. The risks don't end there. At the bottom of every fuel tank lies a thin layer of sediment, microscopic rust, dirt, and debris that accumulates over years. When your fuel level is low, the pump begins drawing from that gritty layer, sending contaminants into your fuel filter and injectors. This can cause misfires, reduced fuel economy, and costly injector replacements. It's not just about mechanical damage either, there's a safety factor. In rural stretches of Oman, Saudi Arabia, or even parts of the UAE, running dry can leave you stranded in blistering conditions where roadside assistance may be hours away. A simple solution exists. Keep your tank at least 1/4 full at all times. This keeps your pump submerged, your injectors clean, and your peace of mind intact. In a region where temperatures and distances are unforgiving, that small habit is worth more than the money saved by stretching one last trip to the petrol station. 5. Shifting into reverse while moving forward. Forcing your transmission into reverse while your vehicle is still rolling forward isn't just a bad habit, it's mechanical sabotage. Whether you drive an automatic or a manual, your gearbox is engineered to change directions only when the vehicle is at a complete stop. When you bypass that basic rule, you're slamming gears into engagement against forces they were never designed to handle. In a manual, the result is a teeth-grinding crunch as gears collide. In an automatic, it's more discreet but just as damaging, as hydraulic systems and clutch packs take the hit. The problem is amplified in the Middle East, where large SUVs, pickups, and heavy luxury sedans dominate the roads. The heavier the vehicle, the more momentum you're asking the transmission to fight when you suddenly demand reverse. That added strain accelerates wear on clutches, gear teeth, and bearings. One Dubai mechanic recalls a client with a full-size Toyota Land Cruiser who made a habit of quick parking by flipping into reverse before the car had fully stopped. Within a year, the transmission began producing a hard clunk with every gear change, and eventually reverse gear failed completely. The bill for a rebuild? A painful 12,000 AE. Even modern transmissions with electronic safeguards can't always save you. Some will delay engaging reverse until speed drops to zero, but the internal stress from the driver's command can still cause long-term wear. The fix is simple. Slow down, come to a complete stop, then shift into reverse. It might add 2 seconds to your maneuver, but it could save you thousands in repairs and spare you the embarrassment of explaining to your mechanic why your gearbox sounds like a cement mixer. 4. Topping off coolant without finding the leak. Coolant doesn't just vanish on its own. In a sealed, healthy cooling system, the level should remain steady for months at a time. So, if you find yourself topping up the reservoir every week or two, you don't just have a thirsty car, you have a problem. The cause could be something relatively minor, like a cracked radiator hose or a worn-out hose clamp. Or it could be far more serious, such as a corroded radiator core or a blown head gasket. Simply pouring more coolant into the tank without identifying the source of the loss is like endlessly refilling a bucket that has a hole in the bottom. Temporary relief, but no solution. In the Middle East, the stakes are even higher. Our extreme heat means that an engine's margin for error is razor thin. A slow leak that might cause minor overheating in a cooler climate can quickly escalate to full-blown heat damage here. Just a few minutes of running too hot on a summer afternoon in Dubai or Riyadh can be enough to warp an aluminum cylinder head, crack a gasket surface, or seize an engine entirely. Repairs of this nature are rarely cheap. A head gasket job on a modern V6 can easily exceed 6,000 AED, and if the cylinder head itself is damaged, you could be looking at an engine rebuild that doubles or triples that figure dot. The smart move is to act immediately. If your coolant level drops unexpectedly, have the system pressure tested by a mechanic. This simple procedure can pinpoint leaks in hoses, radiators, heater cores, and even detect internal leaks into the combustion chamber. Catching a problem early could mean replacing a 150 AED hose instead of an entire engine. In the desert, where overheating can happen in the time it takes to wait at a traffic light, prevention isn't optional, it's survival. 3. Using water instead of proper coolant. In an emergency, when the temperature gauge is creeping into the danger zone, topping off with water might seem like a harmless, even clever temporary fix. After all, it's cheap, it's available, and it can get you to the next service station. But treating plain water as a substitute for proper coolant is a short-term decision with long-term consequences. Coolant, also known as antifreeze, is not just colored water. It's a precisely formulated mix of water, ethylene glycol or propylene glycol, and chemical additives that prevent corrosion, raise the boiling point, and lower the freezing point dot. Water alone lacks these vital properties. In the Middle East, where mineral-rich tap water is common, topping off with hose water introduces calcium and magnesium deposits into your cooling system. Over time, these minerals form a crusty scale inside your radiator, water pump, and engine passages, reducing heat transfer and causing localized hotspots. Worse, without corrosion inhibitors, plain water will start rusting iron and steel components from the inside out. The risks multiply in summer. Pure water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, but the coolant mixture in a pressurized system can withstand temperatures well above that, often 120 degrees Celsius or more, before boiling. Without that higher boiling point, your system is far more likely to overheat, creating steam pockets that stop coolant from circulating. The end result? Overheating, warped cylinder heads, and a hefty repair bill. Middle Eastern mechanics see the aftermath all too often. Water pumps with bearings destroyed by rust, thermostat housings eaten through by corrosion, and radiators clogged with hard mineral deposits. The fix is simple. Always use the correct 50/50ths premix coolant recommended by your manufacturer, or buy concentrated coolant and mix it with distilled water. It might cost a little more up front, but in a climate where your engine works harder every single day, it's an investment in keeping your car alive. 2. Ignoring tire pressure. Your tires are the only parts of your vehicle that actually touch the road. 4 small contact patches, each roughly the size of your hand, carrying the entire weight of your car, passengers, and cargo. Yet tire pressure is one of the most overlooked maintenance checks among Middle Eastern drivers. Underinflated tires flex more than they should, causing excessive heat buildup as they roll. On the searing asphalt of a Gulf summer, where road surface temperatures can exceed 70 degrees Celsius, that extra heat can weaken tire sidewalls to the point of failure. One moment you're cruising at 120 kilometers per h on Sheikh Zayed Road, and the next, you're fighting to keep control as a tire blows out. Overinflated tires are no better. While they may reduce rolling resistance slightly, giving a small bump in fuel economy, they sacrifice grip and create a harsher ride. The smaller contact patch also leads to uneven wear, meaning you'll be shopping for new tires far sooner than necessary. In desert regions, temperature swings between day and night can be surprisingly significant. Especially in winter, sometimes changing by more than 15 degrees Celsius in a matter of hours. This directly affects tire pressure, as air expands and contracts with temperature. A tire that's perfectly inflated at night may be overinflated by midday or underinflated the next morning. The solution is simple, but often ignored. Check your tire pressure at least once a month, ideally in the morning before the day's heat skews the reading. Use a reliable gauge and inflate according to the manufacturer's specifications, which you'll find on the driver's door jamb or in the owner's manual, not the number stamped on the tire itself. In 2025, with tire pressure monitoring systems becoming standard on most vehicles sold in the Middle East, there's little excuse for neglect. Treat tire pressure like you treat fuel. It's something you check before setting off, not when it's too late. 1. Riding the brakes. Downhill, brakes are your car's most important safety system, but even they have limits. Riding the brake pedal for the entire length of a descent, whether down the twisting mountain passes of Oman's Jebel Akhdar or the scenic but steep roads of Jebel Jais in the UAE, is a surefire way to push your braking system past those limits. Constant braking generates tremendous heat, and when brake pads and rotors get too hot, two dangerous things happen. Pads glaze over, becoming less effective at gripping the rotor, and rotors can warp, creating vibrations and reducing stopping power. The problem isn't just the cost of repairs, though replacing warped rotors and glazed pads can set you back anywhere from 1,200 to 3,000 AED. It's the sudden loss of braking efficiency when you need it most. In extreme cases, overheated brakes can experience fade, where the pedal feels soft, and stopping distances increase dramatically. On a downhill stretch with tight corners, that's a recipe for disaster. The smarter, safer, and cheaper alternative is to use engine braking. In automatic cars, this means shifting to a lower gear before the descent so that the engine helps slow the vehicle naturally. In manuals, downshifting achieves the same result. This technique keeps brake temperatures low, preserves pad life, and ensures full stopping power is available when you truly need it. Local driving schools in mountainous regions now actively teach this skill, and experienced drivers know it's the key to descending long slopes without drama. If you've ever smelled burning brakes on a downhill road, you've already seen and smelled the consequences of ignoring this advice. Remember, your brakes are your lifeline, but they aren't meant to do all the work alone, especially when gravity is lending a hand. In 2025, cars are more advanced than ever, but physics hasn't changed. In the Middle East, where extreme heat, dust, and long driving distances are the norm, avoiding these mistakes can easily add years to your vehicle's life. Treat your car's warning signs with respect. Follow proper maintenance schedules, and remember, in this environment, prevention isn't just better than cure, it's cheaper too. And there you have it, 10 ways to turn your car from a loyal road companion into an expensive paperweight. Now that you know what not to do, go out there and give your ride the TLC it deserves. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the do's and don'ts of keeping your car alive in the Middle East, smash that like button, tap subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a tip that could save you thousands.